let's talk about hard to resist hooks. Now, you probably have heard this term, and if you haven't heard it, you probably instinctively know what it means. Hooks are at the very beginning of your post or your video, whatever you're doing, to hook people's attention and make them want to know what the post is about, make them want to pay attention to what you're going to say. And this is absolutely critical because if you don't hook the reader or hook the viewer, then they check out. You got just a matter of seconds to get them, and if you lose them there, then everything else you say, they don't see it. And this is probably even more important on if you're doing long form posts, Facebook or LinkedIn, because it doesn't always show the whole thing. You have to click the read more or whatever it says to reveal the whole body of what you're posting. And so if you don't get them in the first line or two, or maybe three, then you've lost them. So it's very, very important. And as with everything else we talked about, the most important thing is to know your audience. You have to know the sort of things that they're interested in so you can hook them with their own interests. I mean, that's it. if we don't know what they're interested in, if we don't know what they care about, and we don't know what's important to them, then we're behind. We're lacking something important. So it's once you know that though, you can you have a lot better time choosing the things that you can say, talk about, and leverage as assets to get them to keep reading and keep listening. So that's the rule number one. Let's talk about, I've got a handful of, these aren't so much formats, but just ideas. So I'll have some examples too. If you want to hook them in the first two lines, let them in on a secret. It could be your secret, but it's oftentimes a secret about, here's the the secret about the personal development industry that none of these experts want you to know, right? Something that sounds juicy and something that they don't know, but they'll want to know it. We automatically want to know about secrets. If you hear people talking about secrets, even if you don't necessarily care about that space, you're a little bit intrigued. What are they talking? If I shouldn't know it, I want to know. So obviously we want to talk about what's important, but just having a secret there makes it more interesting. That's number one. Number two is to begin a dramatic story. So you have to, you can't really say once upon a time. You could actually occasionally say once upon a time, I was a struggling consultant and I didn't make any money and nobody paid attention to me and I didn't know how to sell my services. But really, any kind of story that you want to tell, but just make sure that people can tell in the first couple of lines that it is a story. There's going to be a story. People also, just like secrets, people want to hear stories. I don't have to tell you that, you've heard it before, but use it in your social media posts. But telegraph right away, this is going to be a story. So here's one. To me, this is my my most memorable story beginning for a post. So it says on December 23rd last year, $201 unexpected dollars appeared in my mailbox. Now, I'm not unaccustomed to postal workers delivering dinero to my door. So I was playing with alliteration there. But this was strange. Was it a Christmas miracle? So right, there's an unexpected check shows up. And is it a Christmas miracle? That's it's an interesting. I don't know if you find it interesting, but it's definitely a story. And if you looked at it on mobile, it's even better. It's even better because we had the same part, and then there's one. It allows one more line. It says, "Was it a Christmas miracle?" Nope, it was blood money. Now you gotta read that. You gotta read that. And so you see what I'm saying? You're telling a story, but you telegraph. You let them know instantly. Like on December 23rd, money showed up at my door that I wasn't expecting. It's a story. So that's something you can use to get people to read further down in the post or listen longer in a video. Okay. Hard to resist. This is number three. I didn't know a number of these, so I'm gonna be guessing here. I think this is number three. But if you use a format kind of like this, you don't have to use this word for word, but the idea of 99% of accountants say don't do, they don't file this particular form the right way, right? And here's why they're wrong. Or you could say 99% of accountants talk to clients this way. And here's why that's wrong. And if you know that there's a common practice or common um, mindset, a common mentality uh, about something in your industry, something that your ideal clients rather probably think or do, or have considered doing, or think is the right way to do things, or if they stay away from doing it, uh, you can say 99% of people think are doing this wrong, and here's why. So what if they're 100% convinced that they're right? They still will want to read this. You have to kind of say what it is, identify the thing, so that they know it's something that they already have an opinion about, or if they think that everyone I'm learning from has an opinion about this and they're doing it wrong, they at least want to read it. They want to find out what's going on, and they want to see why you feel like it's different. What's the alternative that's better? And it's probably even more effective if they're not doing as well as they want to be in their space, and then you find out I'm doing it wrong. This might be the reason I'm failing. This is definitely the reason. This definitely could be a reason I'm struggling. So introduce that. They'll want to read. And even like, again, if they're 100% sure they're doing it right, they'll still want to read to see what kind of crazy thing you're saying. And then you might be able to convince them. If you point out why there's a better way, you may win them over. And so I think it's a great one to use. You don't have to use 99%. It's just the majority. You want a strong majority. Say 60% of people are doing this wrong. And I'm probably in the correct 60% or the correct 40%. Right? So give a high enough percentage where it's like, it instills doubt or insecurity rather, that maybe I'm not in the smart half, the smart percentage. Okay, so then another one that works really well. If you say there's a a lesson that nobody taught me, or a lesson that nobody's told you. Here's something that after being, going through the ups and downs in my business, struggling through all the things I'm going through, I found out something, and nobody taught me this. Nobody's telling you this, right? So if they have any reason to believe you know what you're talking about, they want to hear about the lesson that that nobody taught them. And especially, I got as a variation on that, something you had to learn the hard way. And I'm going to tell you so you don't have to struggle the way that I struggled with it. So here's something I had to learn on the hard way. But not just something, right? Here's a business growth secret for accountants that I had to learn the hard way. I don't know why I'm talking about accountants now, but so there's a good hook, because I want to know about your struggles, and I want to know how you overcame them, and I definitely want to know about something that I should know about that nobody's told me, right? So did I do this right? I think this is supposed to be, maybe for the ones that are wrong, right? Did I do this? I might have put these slides in the wrong order. So anyway, here's one. Most subject lines are utterly boring. Now, I posted one actually today. I said 99% or 97% of subject lines will fail if you do this wrong. But it's the same thing. Most subject lines are utterly boring. Here's 50 that are not. So you see, most people are doing this wrong. Most of your subject lines probably stink. That's why your email marketing doesn't work. And here's 50 examples. Actually, it's 51 that will show you how to do it the right way. Example from me. So the next idea here as a hook: breaking news on a topic of interest. So we're conditioned to pay attention to breaking news, and if you can be one of the first people to speak on it, you got automatic interest, and it proves that you're on the ball when it comes to your industry. I'm going out here and finding out the information. I'm out here on the cutting edge of what's happening, and you're just bringing it back to everybody else. So that's an easy one. Well, I don't know if it's easy to do, but it's an easy one to explain. If you can be one of the first people to talk about a new thing in your space, that's a good hook. Now, a massive accomplishment that you've had or somebody's had, but I like talking about yourself whenever possible, especially in the face of obstacles that your audience is also facing. So if you've done something, I made $1 million, despite being, a high school dropout coming from South Side of Chicago, where everybody counted me out. How did I do it? Right, $1 million is not nearly enough money to be called a massive accomplishment, but maybe for a high school dropout from South Side of Chicago, with all the challenges that come with that, Maybe it is massive, but it's something that people will pay attention to. So here's an example, and this is the guy I mentioned. He gets obnoxious amount of engagement on LinkedIn, and he's doing increasingly well on Twitter as well. Although, like I keep saying, he's in the midst of a hard time. But here's one thing that he said: my newsletter has grown from 0 to 125,000 plus in 77 weeks. And since launching, revenue has increased by 305%. Here's why. So it's just a big accomplishment. 77 weeks, when you think about it, actually it's more than a year. But if you got 125,000 subscribers in a year, in 5 quarters, that's pretty good. And you tripled your revenue. That's pretty good too. So this is just an impressive accomplishment. And here's how I did it. Now, he didn't say anything about obstacles that would have made this even more interesting. Even though I was brand new in this space, nobody knew my name, nobody knew me at all. I didn't have any connections, but I was still able to create this kind of growth in this short amount of time. So if you want to see somebody, I really don't like his content, frankly, but it works. So it's worth checking him out and seeing what he's doing. Just to see, sometimes he does things that you're like, okay, I can see exactly how I'll use that, and it's interesting. But he's known for writing. Well, he's considered to be one of the top hook writers on LinkedIn. Like I said, the results don't lie, I suppose. I mean, he's got a lot of followers, but I've never had a post with 1,100 reactions and 553 comments. It's pretty good. Okay. So another hook kind of format that you can use is a confession, right? You have to say that, 7-figure consultant confesses, confession from 7-figure consultant kind of thing. You might have to be a little more specific than that. Or this happens all the time. If you say, here's a transparent post, because now people feel like you're about to be real about something. You're about to tell me some drama from your life, and they want insight on that. So you've seen them. You should try them. But of course, you have to figure out how to, and we'll talk a little bit more about this in a second, but figure out how to take that confession as a hook and turn it into credibility building and desire building and call me to work with me. All right. So try something like that. There's something I gotta get off my chest. Not even get off my chest. But there's something that I've been hiding for a long time, and I feel like I gotta come clean about this. And that sort of thing gets a lot of attention. Okay. So then the next one will be revelations about people of interest, celebrities, or just top figures in your space, figures that your audience, your ideal clients know about and care about. One, either they hate them or they love them. They have interest about them. If you're going to tell them something that they may not know about, Elon Musk or Michael Jordan or Oprah Winfrey, right? These people, you get interest because there's automatically interest attached to these people. Now I'm going to tell you something you don't know about them, something that maybe most people don't know about, something that they rather you didn't know about them. Then and it could be a good thing or a bad thing, but that's going to get interest. And secondarily, if you want to talk about, here are people you should know from this space. If you like Michael Jordan, well, if you think about, I don't know if you like basketball like I do, but we think about Michael Jordan and these guys as basketball players who are legendary, but that's because they're on TV. What about these street ball players at Rucker Park, right, in New York? These players, Julius Erving, he wiped the floor with these guys, and all the NBA players really do go out. They go out to Rucker Park to see if they want to see what these guys out on the street can do. And anyway, that's just one example. Hidden figure type people. So the movie Hidden Figures is interesting because these are people we weren't told about, but they were critically important to was it the Apollo program, something with NASA. And so you should be interested in these people. And if you want to be the person who educates on these people, that's a good hook. Again, you have to say, well, here's what you can learn from this individual, Katherine Johnson, say, right? And then you turn into, here's how you can become more successful using the principles that we learned from Katherine Johnson. All right. This one is a good one. Bashing your audience's enemy. So anytime I know we want to be positive people, and generally that's a great idea. But if you just take some time to point out the insanity or the stupidity or the latest dumb move from somebody that your audience doesn't like. I'm not saying this isn't necessarily the most effective way to generate sales, although maybe it is, but it's a great way of getting people to read your post or listen to your video. And then once you got their attention, you can do with it what you want. This is how you get attention. And then, of course, I think this is the last one, unique mechanisms with clever names. So if this is I've created a system that produces this amazing result, and you give it a clever name, people want to pay attention to it. So how about this? Another one that I'm very proud of. This is a true story. This email, this is a mixture of things. This one email is what I should have said. This single email made more than $100,000 for my client in the coaching industry. And you can almost certainly use the same messaging with your own email list. So that's a unique mechanism, whatever. It's the now famous Deja Vu December email. This post, and anytime I talk about it, people go crazy, right? That one email, $100,000. I want to see it. Where's the email? What's the copy for the email? And somehow, I made this. I don't have the email. I remember writing it. I sent it to the client. I didn't keep a copy of it. All I know is what happened at the end. So I can talk about what I wrote from a high level view. Anyway, the Deja Vu December is what kind of makes it really interesting. It's the unique name. And if you have, it's my ABC formula or whatever, right? Just that you have a system, it has a clever name, and it makes people interesting, or makes people interested. So you can try something like this regularly. And if you have processes or you have special ways of doing things, come up with clever names, and you'll get a little bit of extra interest and intrigued by that. And then people also remember you better. So next time you want to talk about it, like, oh yeah, I remember you talked about that before. So you can try that. Oh, I guess I have a couple more. So you've seen these. It's my 20th birthday, and here's 20 things that I learned. Man, I wish I was 20. 20 things I've learned in my 20 years on this earth, right? Or it's my 10th year in business. Here's 10 things that I learned in my 10 years in business, or something like that. People, it has a rhythm to it, and they're thinking, okay, you've been in the game for a while, you've learned a lot, and I'm curious to know the top things that you can remember from your journey to your level of mastery. People read those articles, they listen to those videos, or they watch them. Okay, and then revealing a costly lie or false belief holding your ideal client back. Right? So again, that's kind of like one of the ones I mentioned before. 99% of people believe that you can't sell in the first email. You can't sell on the first phone call. And what percentage of people do never get on the phone a second time? Right? So this lie is hurting you. And even if you try to sell on the first call, it doesn't mean you won't get a second call. And in fact, trying to sell on the first call may increase your chance of getting a second call. So anyway, if there's a costly lie, people hate to be lied to. And if you say, you've been lied to, I mean, just that line by itself gets attention. You're being lied to. Your sales manager is lying to you, right? Your favorite coach. I mean, your favorite coach isn't, but you can say to other people, your favorite coach is probably lying to you. And they're lying to you to keep you dependent on them. I get it. It's a business move, but it's bad for you. And then I'm going to reveal what that is. People want to know. I'm paying $20,000 a year, $40,000 a year, $100,000 a year. I can't have somebody setting me up for their own benefit